Hey bakers, John Cannell from Preppy Kitchen here. Today we're going to be making this crazy striped tart. It is my attempt at a fancy French pastry, and I have to tell you, I think it looks pretty cool. You're going to love watching this. It's so much easier than you think. It might inspire you to break out that rolling pin and make some magic happen. Let's get started. First off, we'll be making 2 batches of pastry dough. 1 vanilla, 1 chocolate. Both have to be chilled. There's a lot of chilling in this recipe, so I'm just gonna warn you ahead of time. You can totally stage it out and do like one thing one day, come back to it, and like keep working. Don't try and do it all at once. It's a lot of work. Okay, half a cup of cold butter into the bowl, all of it, fitted with a paddle attachment. And now I'm adding in 80 grams of confectioner sugar. It's like a little bit less than a cup, I think. Half a teaspoon of salt, and half a teaspoon of vanilla. There we go. We're gonna mix it up into a paste. It'll take a minute because the butter's cold, but it's supposed to be cold, so don't worry. Walk away, clean some dishes. Once it's all mixed up, after about 2 minutes, scrape the bowl down, and we're gonna add 3 egg yolks in one at a time while it's mixing. 1, 2, that one's broken, and 3. Mix it up so it's nice and cohesive. Scrape that bowl down again, and now it's time to add in our flour. I'm adding in half a pound or 226 grams of an all-purpose flour. You're gonna mix it until it comes together, and like a normal pastry dough, you don't wanna overwork it. It'll kind of come together when it's resting in the fridge. It'll be a bit crumbly. Mix it on low, mix it on medium. All right, that's not ready yet, but I do wanna do some scraping. Starting to come together. There we go. So now you can see it's a nice kind of Play-Doh-y consistency, and this stuff is delicious. I'm sprinkling some parchment paper with just the barest touch of flour, and then move it around, dump it out onto another sheet of parchment paper. You just wanna like touch it with flour. You don't want a lot. Now we'll move our pastry dough here. You just press it down with your hands. And now take another sheet of barely floured parchment paper. We're gonna roll it out to 3 millimeters exactly, which is 1/8 of an inch. Very precise, very small. Let me show you how I'm gonna do that. This looks so cheesy, but it comes in really handy. It's a rolling pin and it has little bumpers on the side. I'm gonna use the 1/8 of an inch bumper. I got this on Amazon, and I'll include a link in the little downstairs text area. That's the official name. Roll that on. We're gonna roll this out, turn the paper around. If you get wrinkles in it, lift the paper back up and place it back down. These bumpers come in so handy, I can't even tell you. If your pastry comes out too far, just cut it off and place it somewhere where it would be more useful. If you were actually like in a fancy restaurant or a big bakery, they have machines that laminate the dough. But I don't have that because I'm baking at home. This thing is getting like a full Swedish massage. All right, I'm gonna cut this last little bit off, have it for snacking later. I will eat that raw pastry dough. This is gonna go into the refrigerator on a baking sheet for like half an hour or so before it's cool enough for you to start working it. It does soften up, and you want to be nice and firm for those stripes. They need to have precision. Okay, into the fridge. Now we're making a chocolate version of the same dough. Everything is the same. I did take out like a tablespoon or so of flour, so it's like 215 grams now, along with 3 tablespoons of a nice cocoa powder. You can use more of it. There we go. Use more cocoa powder if it's a cheap cocoa powder. This stuff is really powerful. It's Valrhona. Sift it up. Cocoa powder has a lot of lumps. Whisk it up and set it aside. Ready to do the same things all over again, starting with 1 stick of cold butter cubed into your stand mixer, 80 grams of confectioner's sugar, half a teaspoon of vanilla, half a teaspoon of salt, and cream it up. Once it's all creamy, add in 3 egg yolks, one at a time, scrape the bowl down if needed, add your flour mixture in, mix until just combined, dump that chocolate mixture out onto your prepared paper, press it down to get it started. And now we'll add our second sheet of parchment paper on, roll it out to 3 millimeters again. Once our chocolate batch is rolled out to 3 millimeters, we can add it right on top of that vanilla batch. Goes back into the fridge, let it chill out for half an hour. You can even do this a day ahead of time, no problem. I would just cover this up completely. Our next step is to make a beautiful, dreamy Swiss meringue buttercream, but I'm not gonna subject you to that. I wanna get to the assembly part first. So click up over here for my full how-to video. It has all my tips and tricks on dreamy Swiss meringue buttercream. It's one of my favorites and it's so versatile. The next step we have is our chocolate base. I'm just gonna melt about a cup of dark chocolate. You can add a little bit of cream to thin it out. You can make it as creamy or as stiff as you want. It's totally up to you. You can even temper it. I'm not gonna get into that though. And now it's time for the assembly. Take one batch of dough out. You can start with vanilla, and we're gonna cut it into 1/4 inch thick strips using a ruler. Once your dough is all cut, put it back in the fridge and do the same with the chocolate batch. Onto a new sheet of parchment paper, you're gonna add in alternating strips of chocolate and vanilla, put them right up next to each other. And then when you have a big sheet of that, it's time to roll it out between parchment paper just like we did before. This will laminate the dough together. It's really fun. You can do any color you want too. I make cookies this way as well. That laminated dough is gonna go back into the fridge now. It needs to be nice and firm. So much fridge time, I know, it's crazy. Once your striped dough is all chilled, it's time to cut things out. I'm using a few specialized tools that I wanted to show you because they make a huge difference. You don't have to use them. You can use regular tart shells, etc., but to get that perfect cylinder, you're gonna use a perforated tart ring. It bakes things very evenly. I'll have a link to buy them if you choose so in the description of this video. The second thing you can use, but totally don't have to, is a Silpat, but it's a perforated Silpat. Can you hear me? There's air holes all throughout this. And they let things bake up just perfectly on the bottom too. I couldn't find this for a while, so I actually would just take regular parchment paper and punch a lot of holes in it with a knife, and it worked like almost exactly the same. So if you're gonna splurge, get the rings. I'm using my 3-inch rings to cut into the chilled dough, and don't remove the ring. Just pick the whole thing up and you're gonna build with the ring. The ring goes into the oven. This is like one huge piece that you're gonna put together. After you have your bases done, it's time for the sides. This is the tricky part. I'm warning you, if you're gonna do this with me, this is the part where stuff gets a little dicey. You're gonna cut strips out, and I cut them on a 45-degree angle so that we had a nice diagonal stripe. And you're gonna be very, very careful when you lift it. Gingerly transfer that strip into your tart ring, unroll it, and then where the overlapping pieces are meeting, you're going to just kind of like take off stripes one at a time until you get the right amount and press them together. Now press the corner in with your fingers. You don't need to use any glue. It'll all like kind of glue together when it bakes. And then use a knife to just trim the top off so it's flush with the ring. These little guys can go into the freezer until they are perfectly frozen. Frozen. So leave them in there. You can do this the night before if you want to stage things out. That's totally fine. Or have them in the freezer for at least half an hour. When you're almost ready to bake them, preheat your oven to 320 degrees Fahrenheit. Pop them in, hopefully on that perforated silicone sheet, and then you're going to bake them for about 15 minutes or so. If you didn't press hard enough into the tart ring, they might droop down. That's totally okay. Just take them out of the oven after a couple minutes, press it back in, it'll be totally fine. Once the tart shells are done, they're just starting to turn golden, you can take them out, let them cool completely, and then take the rings off after they've set. We're gonna take that melted chocolate, drizzle it down into your tart shell so you have a nice layer. It could be as thick as you want or as thin as you want, it's totally up to you. Once you have your batch of Swiss meringue buttercream, you're gonna divide it so that you have like 2/3 that's gonna be plain vanilla and 1/3 that'll be chocolate. All you have to do is melt chocolate and then cool it until it's room temperature, drizzle it in, mix it up, and you get a creamy chocolate Swiss buttercream masterpiece. It basically tastes like chocolate mousse to me and I love it. I snipped the tip off of a piping bag and I'm piping in that delicious creamy chocolate Swiss meringue buttercream. You can use a small spatula to even it out so it's nice and flush, and then transfer it into the fridge just to hang out. They could be at room temperature too, but why not enjoy some nice cool air? This ridged top is really fun to make. Here's what you're gonna do. Take a sheet of parchment paper and tape it onto a surface. It's very important it doesn't slip around. Transfer that vanilla Swiss meringue buttercream into a piping bag fitted with a 127 tip or any medium petal tip. You're gonna pipe vertical ridges onto that parchment paper so the pointy side of your piping tip is facing straight up perpendicular to the paper. Now you're gonna pipe in alternating layers going back and forth to create this mesmerizing but very easy effect. Once you have like about a 4x4-inch square of that, you can take that parchment paper off of your surface, transfer it to the freezer on a small plate. And you're gonna make as many of these squares as you have tarts. Once you have all of those done, it's time to dust them with cocoa powder. Take your chilled section of ridges and lift it until it's almost vertical, so perpendicular to the floor. Dust it with cocoa powder and then carefully place it back down. Now you're gonna use a circle cutter that's just smaller than the inside of your tart shell. I have this set of graduated circle cutters. They come in so handy, I love them. I'll add a link into the description as well. Cut your circles out and remove very carefully. I used a toothpick to like just plop it out, but you can jimmy it however you'd like, and then place those into the freezer to hang out. After you've cut them all out, it's time to assemble your fancy tarts. Take a little spatula, add the top onto your filled tart, and you're done. That's it. Wasn't that easy? It only took a few seconds. I have to tell you, this came out so different than I expected. I actually was gonna make this crazy sugar cage for it and then top it with these little finials. I actually made all of these things, but I decided not to use them, so I did not include them in the video. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, why not watch my ultimate cake decorating compilation? It has all my favorite cakes, just the decoration, no baking, no John, just cakes. Check it out. All right, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.